Welcome to Season 8, old and new friends of the show. Now in this season, as always, we have a stellar lineup of guests on the show to tickle your taste buds. You know the format, discussing their food history, career and vulnerable moments, as well as advice on how to be the very best in the industry. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, you will also notice that we are in a brand new studio and you may spot some familiar paraphernalia. This season, we welcome back Chef Middle East as our headline sponsor. They have been an amazing partner to the show on Season 6, and I'm very happy to have them back right here with us on Season 8. We have also partnered up with No More Bottles, as well as Luvv's Gourmet protein bars. I have to say it's extremely exciting to get such a fantastic array of partners on board. They will all have incredible value to add to the show, and you'll be hearing what they can do throughout the season. They are the reason we can bring you this content to you for free. Without further ado, this is what you can expect to see or hear from the inspirational guests during this season.
The first time I realized that maybe Bo had more than just work feelings for me was when I told you to F off, jokingly, in the middle of like
service.
Oh, okay.
And she disappeared for like 20 minutes, half an hour. I'm like, where is she gone? Like, what's she doing? And then she came back up and I'm like, oh, did you forget your knives?
You don't just become a chef. You know, you study, you learn, you spend years and years of your life understanding this. So no, this was not an option.
If you have a worthy brand that is adding value to community, to society, it's easier to market it. Something that's unique, something that the brand identity resonates with people.
So in the beginning, it was really hard for me. Like, no one would listen to me. Like, on purpose, they would delay food. They weren't pushing the food to me on the expo.
I spent 5 years at Social Eating House, and that time literally flew by. I couldn't, I remember thinking, like, boy, I've been here 5 years. Like, I'm ready, and I'm ready for, I need to move on. I'm ready for a new challenge.
You could drive around anywhere in the UAE and you'll notice plastic bottles sitting at the side of a pavement, either being delivered or being collected. Okay?
Yeah.
We're living in 40, 50 degrees of heat. Plastic was introduced in the early 1900s for transportation. No one at that point ever thought that humans were going to consume from plastic containers.
When I finished my high school, I said, I want to be a chef, actually. I like it. And that's how I moved to go to a culinary school. I didn't study anything else. I started immediately after school saying I'm going to become a chef.
Wow, okay.
Basically.
Food is intrinsic. It's in the culture. It's born of what comes from the produce and the land and the taste. So I say food connects us, but it also separates us because food is part of our cultural identity.
If you are new to the show, a very warm welcome. And if you're already on board, welcome back home. You know the score. So, before we get into the traditional first episode of each season, which is always narrated by yours truly, just to give you a little bit of a canapé or an amuse-bouche of things to come. In the previous season, I mentioned about merchandise, so we now have available some super beautiful thermos bottles. And you can really do so many things with this, but the cool thing about them is that you can keep your drinks hot or cold for around 8 to 9 hours. And the details of where you can get hold of these, I'll put all of those details in the show notes, or you can DM me. One small point to add. If you haven't already, make sure to follow, share, and subscribe to the show. It's really important as this helps to grow. Plus, a little 5-star review wouldn't go amiss, and we want to keep talking to as many people as possible. So what's been happening from my end? First of all, some really big news. The restaurant group that I'm involved in, the group is called Scene Holding. They have some great restaurants in Abu Dhabi. Now, specifically Reba. The restaurant is a Mediterranean Emirati restaurant. Now, I've been working with the team and Faisal for some time on the project. And on the 31st of October, it was the Abu Dhabi Michelin Guide. The restaurant was awarded a Bib Gourmand and Michelin Restaurant of the Year. The award came out of nowhere. I thought we would just be included, but to have these two awards is a real honor for myself, the company, and more importantly, the team. They have been working really hard to make it happen, and we couldn't be prouder. Just to say thank you to Michelin and the Abu Dhabi Department of Culture and Tourism for this incredible recognition. Really, thank you very, very much. So what else has been happening from my end? It feels like this season of hospitality has been about events, menu launches, new menu tastings. This is just across the region. But what about in the UAE? I've been attending millions of industry events, a lot of restaurant openings, also doing a lot of filming for various ongoing projects. So first of all, when it comes to the podcast, can I just say a massive thank you for all of the messages, all of the support that you have all given me. And those of you who stop me in the street or message me just to say that you've listened to a particular episode, or there's a certain guest that you really love, and those of you who have shared images for listening to the show on Emirates Airlines, thank you. To me, this is really special. This is something I take very seriously, and I want to share as much value as possible with each and every interview. So when I first think about the first show I did, it was in our apartment. My wife Maria was the one to initially put the idea into my head. I took a bit of time to be convinced, to be honest, because I was like, no one's going to listen to me or chefs talking about the industry. Well, surprise, surprise, I was wrong. The show started during lockdown. I had 2 microphones, 2 phones, and a laptop. That was it. The first show I had to be really, really quiet. But then I started getting guests in, and then I found out there was some interest. Fast forward 4 years and 8 seasons later, the show has changed considerably, and we are a global hospitality podcast offering advice from some of the world's leading professionals. We dig deep into childhood food memories. We have a laugh, some deep conversations. I feel truly honored that we get to spend an amazing amount of time with these people, and at the same time, we all learn. So the thing is, change is ever present and a constant thing that we must go through. Whatever it is, we must always adapt. The truth is, most people fear change. Now think of a time when something may have changed in your life. You were like, no, I don't like it. Whether it was moving house, schools, whatever it was, the first instance, most people hate change. I was certainly like that back in the day. Now, in my opinion, after some time, I feel that change is a positive thing. Pivoting to learn new skills, to retrain yourself, to embrace the unexpected is something that I personally love to do. Constantly thinking about how I can be a better chef, speaker, presenter, podcaster, whatever it is, I want to make my life interesting and really push myself, especially in today's world where things move so quickly. You have to keep an order to align with the rest of the world. Now, I have to say, the guests on this season are real change makers. They have each carved out a path that has made everlasting change, not just for themselves, but for the industry as a whole. The only piece of advice I can give you is to embrace change and, of course, take the time to digest things that are ahead, but embrace them positively. Remember, change begins at the end of our comfort zone. Enjoy the upcoming season, gang. It's going to be full on. Really, some incredible people on there. Now, culinary brothers and sisters, don't forget to keep spreading the word. A big fat thank you to the entire team at Podster for producing the show. And don't forget that you can now watch us on YouTube. And if you haven't already, make sure to follow, share, and subscribe. I would just like to ask a small favor. If you like the show or think someone you know could learn a few lessons from the guests and the conversations we have, then please share away. This is what helps to grow the entire podcast. So, really, really important. Enjoy this incredible season. And don't forget, food is memories.